Hola a todos y bienvenidos a mi canal de Linguist. Hoy día voy a hablar de mi historia de español, cómo aprendí español y por qué lo puedo hablar tan bueno como puedo. No worries guys, I'm going to do this video in English. But today's video is all about how to become fluent in Spanish, the quickest ways and the best resources that I personally used and found to be the most helpful on my Spanish learning. For those of you who know me and have seen my surname, you probably think, oh, Vasquez, she's definitely from Spain or something. Now, my stepfather is Hispanic, but that doesn't mean that I didn't go through the exact same journey that you all did to learn Spanish. So I started learning Spanish in primary school when I was about 7, and there you really only learn the basics like colors and numbers and like verbs like to be and to have, but that doesn't really bring you anywhere. So my number one biggest tip on what really helped me was to find books and resources like movies that you really enjoy watching in that language. And I started off by watching them with English subtitles and went on from there. The more that my Spanish developed, the more that I practiced and studied it at school, the better it became, and I could watch these movies in Spanish without subtitles. So obviously having my stepfather enabled me to have someone to practice with. But honestly, guys, you can find people to practice with all over the world. For example, now I use apps like HelloTalk or italki. You can find native speakers. There are millions out there. Like HelloTalk has 6 million users now, and you can find friends from all over the world. And if you have any friends that do speak Spanish, literally go to their house, start talking to their parents, just find a way to use
Become their child.
Become their child. And find a way to practice the language as much as possible. And the best way to do this is really by speaking. Now, if you're more of a sort of lonesome learner and prefer doing things on your own, find resources online that you can listen to the language and then repeat afterwards, and something that you just enjoy. Because if you don't enjoy doing it, then it's not going to stick in your brain and you're just not going to get any better. So when I got to high school with Spanish, that's where stuff got really, really real. So we had a grammar class, we had a vocabulary class, or where we just focused on acquiring new words. And the way that we did this was we had flashcards. We also watched a YouTube series. I will link it down below because I can't remember the name right now. But basically it was designed for, the busy memory is working. It was designed for language learners, and it was like a crime series that you could follow. And we followed this every week, and you had to answer all these questions, and in order to answer the questions, you had to know how to say the things in Spanish and answer them correctly so that you couldn't go further. Blah, blah, blah. And so then one of the biggest milestones in my Spanish journey was when I went to Spain in year 9. So in high school, we had the opportunity to go to Spain for 3 weeks, and this helped me improve my language immensely. And I'm sure that you've all probably heard, yes, spending time in a country where the language is spoken is the best way to improve. But why this is true is because you force yourself to use the language. I know plenty of people who go there and they come back after these 3 weeks or 6 months and don't know anything. But it's because they didn't get out of their comfort zone and didn't practice. And it's literally just little things. It's going to the shop and asking for something in the language. It's ordering tapas or paella in Spanish and asking for vino and stuff like that. The more that you use it, the better you're going to get, hands down. And getting into real contact with the language, because there you have a purpose of why you need to know. You need it to survive, essentially. So my final tip is practice regularly. This doesn't have to be every single day, but really look for people who speak the language. Find a tandem partner. I'm sure that in your city or in your country, there are language groups that you can join, and you can go to cafes and practice languages. Or you can also join my Facebook group now, where I have people from all over the world who you can contact and start practicing your language today. Muchas gracias y nos vemos pronto. Ciao. The fourth app today is one I'm sure all of you know, and if not, then it's probably one of the most popular language learning apps, and it is called Duolingo.